For nearly a decade, the world has watched them, waiting, wondering, hoping for the day they would finally speak. Heughan and Caitríona Balfe, the beloved duo behind one of television's most enduring love stories, have always shared a connection that words could never quite define. And for years, that mystery fueled endless headlines, fan theories, and whispers across social media. But this time, there was no rumor, no speculation, no denial. There was only truth, spoken softly, beautifully, and straight from the heart. It happened during what was supposed to be a casual interview. The two stars sat side by side on a bright morning talk show sofa, promoting a charity campaign they had co-founded. The atmosphere was light, laughter, small jokes, the easy banter fans had adored since 2014. But then, the host smiled knowingly and asked the question that had followed them for almost 10 years. After all this time, are the rumors true? The room went still. Sam looked over at Caitríona, the corner of his mouth curling into that familiar, quiet smile. The one fans knew meant more than words. Caitríona exhaled softly, her hand brushing a strand of hair from her face. And for once, neither of them deflected. Sam was the first to speak. "You know," he said with a small laugh, "we've always let people think whatever they wanted to think. But maybe it's time to set the record straight, or at least, to tell our side of it." The audience leaned in. The air shifted. Caitríona nodded, her voice gentle but steady. "There's never been anything to hide," she said. "We just didn't want the noise to drown out what's real." "So what is real?" the host asked. Sam glanced at Caitríona again, his tone softening. "The truth," he said, "is that we've always had something real. Maybe not what people imagine, but something we both cherish. Something that's kept us connected through everything." It was a moment of pure honesty, quiet, raw, and deeply human. For years, their friendship had been dissected and romanticized by millions, but this time, they weren't trying to explain or justify it. They were honoring it. Caitríona smiled faintly, her eyes shining with a tenderness that cameras couldn't fake. "People always want to label things," she said. "They see chemistry and think it must be love, or they see friendship and think it can't be deep. But we've lived through so much together, and whatever this is, it's ours. It's real." The studio audience erupted into applause, and for the first time in years, Sam and Caitríona didn't shy away. They held each other's gaze, a quiet understanding passing between them. On social media, clips of that moment went viral within minutes. Fans around the world cried, wrote heartfelt messages, and flooded the internet with words like, "Finally. No longer a rumor. They said it, and it's even more beautiful than we imagined." But the beauty of their confession wasn't just in what they said, it was in what they didn't. They didn't confirm a secret romance. They didn't deny the bond people had felt. Instead, they revealed something far more touching. A truth that transcended every rumor. The truth of two people who had shared a decade of laughter, tears, success, and silence, and who still chose to stand by each other. As the interview went on, the host asked how they managed to stay so close after all these years. Caitríona laughed softly. "He's seen me at my best and my worst," she said. "We've grown up together, in a way. He's family." Sam added, "We've been through everything, the highs, the lows, the long nights filming in the cold. I don't think I'll ever have another bond quite like this one." There was something in his tone that made even the host pause, not sadness, but gratitude. The segment ended with Caitríona turning to the camera and saying, "It was never a rumor. It was always love, just not the kind people expected." That line hit the world like lightning. It wasn't a denial, nor was it confirmation of romance. It was something purer, something bigger. Fans understood instantly. This was about soul-level connection. About friendship that defied definition, loyalty that didn't fade with time, and affection that ran deeper than any love story ever could. Within hours, media outlets began calling it the moment that ended a decade of speculation. But for those who truly followed their journey, it wasn't the end of anything, it was a beginning. A moment when truth finally replaced rumor, and the bond between Sam and Caitríona was allowed to exist exactly as it was meant to. As one fan perfectly wrote beneath the viral clip, they didn't confess to love. They confessed to something greater, to a connection that doesn't need a label. And that, perhaps, was the real reason the world fell silent that day. Because after years of whispers, Sam Heughan and Caitríona Balfe finally spoke, and what they revealed wasn't scandal, it was sincerity. The clip spread like wildfire. Within hours, news outlets across the globe were replaying the moment that Sam Heughan and Caitríona Balfe had finally spoken their truth. No longer a rumor, read one headline. Sam and Caitríona's touching revelation breaks the internet. But what made it so powerful wasn't drama or scandal, it was honesty. In a world obsessed with gossip, their vulnerability felt refreshing. For years, people had speculated about whether their connection was romantic, professional, or something in between. Yet, when they finally opened up, the truth was far more moving than anyone had imagined. In the hours following the interview, social media overflowed with emotion. Fans shared clips of Sam looking at Caitríona, the way his expression softened when she spoke. They replayed her final words. It was always love, just not the kind people expected. That one sentence became a global mantra. #No longer a rumor began trending worldwide, not because of sensationalism, but because it captured something universal. The beauty of a bond that didn't need definition. As the world celebrated, both Sam and Caitríona remained quiet for a few days, allowing their words to speak for themselves. Then, unexpectedly, Sam broke the silence with a heartfelt post on Instagram. 10 years, countless memories, one truth, gratitude. For her, for our journey, for what we've built together. It's not about what people call it, it's about what it means. Attached was a photo of him and Caitríona on the Outlander set, laughing between takes. The image captured everything: comfort, trust, and an unspoken understanding that words could never describe. The post received over 1 million likes within a day. Caitríona commented beneath it with 3 simple words: always with you. That was all it took to send the internet into another emotional storm. Fans called it the most genuine expression of love in Hollywood, while others described it as a lesson in how real connection looks. Entertainment outlets praised the pair for handling years of speculation with grace. Vanity Fair wrote, "In an industry built on illusion, Sam and Caitríona chose truth, and it was breathtaking." People magazine called their honesty the closure fans didn't know they needed. But for the two of them, this wasn't closure, it was freedom. In a follow-up interview a week later, Sam spoke quietly about why they had chosen to speak out now. "We spent years protecting something sacred," he said, "and I think we realized that sometimes, silence lets people write stories that aren't real. We just wanted to share ours, not to explain it, but to honor it." Caitríona nodded beside him, her voice full of warmth. "It's been such a long journey," she said. "People have seen us laugh, cry, and grow up on screen. What they don't see is the friendship that holds all of that together. He's one of the most important people in my life, always will be." Sam smiled at her, his eyes soft. "Same here," he said simply. That exchange, though small, carried the kind of intimacy that transcended performance. It wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't for show, it was real. The interviewer asked if they had ever felt frustrated by the constant rumors. Caitríona's answer was graceful as ever. "Sometimes, yes," she admitted. "But I think we've learned that love takes many forms. What Sam and I share doesn't need to fit anyone's expectations. It just is." Her words struck a chord far beyond the Outlander fandom. Relationship experts, psychologists, and fans alike began sharing the interview as a testament to emotional maturity and connection. It became a conversation about boundaries, respect, and redefining what love truly means. Even Hollywood insiders, used to the industry's endless speculation, felt moved. One producer tweeted, "They just taught us that love doesn't need headlines to be real." Days later, during a charity gala in Edinburgh, Sam and Caitríona made their first public appearance since the interview. They arrived separately, as always, but the moment they spotted each other on the red carpet, everything else faded. Cameras captured a quiet exchange, a smile, a touch on the arm, a moment of shared laughter. No grand gestures, no theatrics. Just two people who understood each other completely. Reporters shouted questions, but neither addressed the rumors again. They didn't need to. The truth had already been spoken, and it was enough. When asked later about how he felt after sharing that truth, Sam told a journalist, relieved. For years, we let people tell our story. It feels good to finally tell it ourselves, and to do it with honesty. Caitríona added, we're proud of what we've built together. The show, the friendship, the legacy, it's something rare. And that's the truth we wanted people to see. By then, even the tabloids had softened. What had started as gossip had transformed into admiration. Commentators described their relationship as a blueprint for grace under pressure. Fans, once hungry for answers, were now at peace, not because they finally got what they wanted, but because they understood what they had been witnessing all along. As one fan beautifully wrote online, we kept waiting for a confession of romance, but what they gave us was more precious, a confession of real, human love. The final image from that week said it all. Sam and Caitríona walking side by side at the event's close, smiling quietly as the crowd cheered behind them. No staged pose, no rehearsed expression. Just two souls sharing a journey that had outgrown every rumor. After all the whispers, all the speculation, they had finally spoken their truth. And it wasn't about secrets. It was about connection. It was about love, in its purest, most enduring form.